Vienna now to China. What are people talking about on social media? They're talking about a lack of male teachers. Despite years of effort to address this, the Chinese government published data on Friday showing male teachers are still very much in the minority. And that's despite a recent drive to make boys more manly because of fears that young Chinese men are overly influenced by androgynous pop stars. Our China media analyst Kerry Allen told me more.
Back in February, there was a lot of concern from the Education Ministry, very much saying that children, particularly boys, needed good male role models. A suggestion that because boys are very much looked after in the home by their mothers or their grandmothers, that they don't have strong male role models when they get into school, because similarly there are predominantly female teachers. But what's interesting about this is that in China, there is a huge gender gap. There are millions more men than women in society. So there could potentially be many more men in schools, but clearly this is not still the case.
What are they doing to try to attract more men into teaching?
Well, today there's a strong message coming out in this one big newspaper in China called Guangming Daily. I mean, this is the national newspaper that's written by the state, very much saying that schools need to work on this. They need to rectify and have more men in education, particularly in physical education, so particularly in sports, but very much trying to kind of change the culture of schools in general, and to get the idea that if you are a teacher, that it's a good profession to be in. But there have been criticisms previously that the pay is not very good. This has raised questions about whether the salaries of teachers should be increased to meet those of civil servants, and also questions about the profession as a whole. People have found nowadays that they're unable to switch off, because with more social media, with much more digital technologies, you've got the case that teachers don't just do a 9-to-5 job anymore. They've got parents who will contact them after work, homework to mark, and they're working much longer hours. So for what they're getting paid, it's not seen as very attractive.
And talking of social media, what's the reaction been from people in China to the government having this view?
Well, there's been huge reaction today. There have been thousands of comments on Sina Weibo, which is China's version of Facebook or Twitter. Lots of different reaction about this. Some people think that it's a very good idea because they do think, there should be more male role models in schools, particularly at a very young age, so that boys have somebody to look up towards. There are other people as well that actually are quite cynical about this because of historic stories about child abuse. They say that they feel safer having a female teacher. There's a lot of discussion about this, and also a lot of women saying that they actually think that probably there are more women in the teaching profession because men fail their exams, maybe on things like empathy.